Firstly, I didn't think the mayor was still going to be here, so I'm really sorry about that. Other than that, it's also not probably going to lighten the mood. Anyways, my name's Daniel Collins, Unit 0441199. My essay is called Trent University, All Style and No Substance, Level It, a Satire, and that part's important. A final purge on why Trent University must be liquidated. Start with the Pierre Trudeau quote, "Let us overthrow the totems, break the taboos, or better, let us consider them cancelled. Coldly, let us be intelligent." The following essay is highly satirical, but many serious issues are alluded to. Some sections are meant to be fully for the purpose of entertainment, but not everything that I say is meant to be laughed at without thought. What is the purpose of satire if not to reveal how entirely confused and contradictory some of our shared notions are? As far as I can tell, not that I've been around for very long at all, let alone at Trent, there is no longer a unified identity at the school that is easily apparent. Instead, there are many identities and agendas that are in conflict with each other, leading to widespread disenchantment with the prospects of social progress. Considering that we live in a world where idealism is seen as juvenile, we allow for ethnic tension, religious conflict, and political apathy to run rampant, while we convince ourselves that we live within an enlightened circle, or something like that. Trent suffers as a result of this larger social issue, as very few of us are conscious of the impulsive way we categorize things and the reasons why we think in the way we do. We often ignore the fact that many of our ideas are designed by others in the service of others. Despite the fact that this may sound largely like a vague generalization, and it is, suspend your skepticism. You're about to be subjected to many more surface-level generalizations and vague idealistic statements, but these kind of propositions can be the most powerful and captivating propositions of all. Also, I'm pretty ignorant, so it is very often difficult for me to back up anything that I say. By discussing some of my theories and inclinations through a satirical lens, I'm able to express myself in an unguarded way, which allows me to attack things from an original angle. That being said, I will not be the first person to get away with this kind of biased approach, considering that we are told many lies daily and no one should be trusted. Essays are clearly the products and expressions of personalities and institutions, and you will find that this expression is clearly, obviously, beautiful and tragic, so Trent must be beautiful and tragic as well. You may find it offensive, but so are most things that people claim to believe. Anyways, is there a place for the paranoid hippie sociologist at Trent anymore, and does this character serve any kind of productive purpose? Is society under attack, or are many notions of social injustice misplaced? Is it possible to approach issues of globalization and hegemonic capitalism constructively without having all of the information? How informed must one be? Is there merit to letting passion loose and making political criticisms without hesitation? Am I the madman, or is it you whose beliefs are delusional and misguided, you whose thoughts are not your own, you who are afraid to hear the truth and are unwilling to accept that the world has melted past the prospect of reconstruction? Right. Part 1, The Haven. Trent University, the leftist paradise of the revolutionary 1960s, a home for the working class academic, a nest and support system for those ready to fight in the name of change. We gave them a run for their money, didn't we? And for a time it was good. We banded together arm in arm, no chains, only brotherly bonds and respect for all, a radical commitment to social justice, a fiery determination in our hearts, an animalistic desire for political activism, a Nixon-hating, Beatle-loving haven for those who were not of the way that things were going. But despite our efforts, things kept going, and now they've gone. Trent has for some time been unable to stay true to its original platform. In a society consumed by capitalism, you either subscribe to despair or perish. Remember when we used to say, when the revolution comes, man, it's going to be their backs against the wall. What happened to passion? What happened to idealism? Long ago, this alternative, small classrooms, cutting-edge research school became an instrument of capital, an extension of advanced globalization, a program for the programmed. Harper's School of ignorant, smiley, happy, horny fascists. Was Trent not meant to bring together the used and abused? Was this university not designed to wake us up to our own exploitation, to reveal to us that we are both allowing for and enabling the prevailing sickness of society to thrive? Trent University was once a place where we could use our sickness against the enemy, the controllers of capital. But instead, Trent, like all other institutions, now causes us to internalize our sickness, to believe that we are truly healthy and enlightened when this could not be further from the truth. Trent can no longer be redeemed. It is past the point of no return, and it must be purged. It must be remembered as an attempt at subversion, an alternative option to the nightmare of consumption. Only its immediate destruction will allow for this. If we continue to alter our model just in order to survive, then we will only serve to humiliate ourselves. But Trent no longer serves a purpose for anyone but the corporate mad dogs who wait for the trained meat to graduate. They wait for the young blood to be released from the conditioning facilities so that they may suck these up-and-comers dry in order to sustain their life force. Very few cells in Trent's body remain uncorrupted, and we cannot allow the school to continue to feed itself by subscribing to the will of the market. Trent failed long ago, and we have left it lying around for far too long. Let them know that we'd rather see it burn than be swallowed whole by the malignant disease that is corporate greed. The market is uncompromising. It cannot be reasoned with. For some time now, we have ignored the fact that our methods and way of life will no longer be able to remain unique from the other propaganda sites in Ontario. We must play the game the way that the market wants us to, or not play at all. Mousetrap. Hope has been neutered, and night will now inevitably descend. No hope for radical recovery will stop the snowball of capitalism from soiling our school and crushing its children, slaves for Harper's sex dungeon, deepest dark of relentless energy. Do you hear the fascists knocking on Trent's door? I can feel their breath in the back of my neck every time I walk past the Zosky cafeteria, where Starbucks coffees are being sold to willing students. Can you empirically prove that Starbucks is not the Antichrist? Can you prove to me that the purpose of the purchase of a meatball sub at Subway is not a form of Hitler worship? Excuse my comparison, but if neoliberalism is not a form of mass mobilization akin to early 20th century fascism, then I don't know what is. This is the final phase. We have brought the corporations here as part of Trent's inevitable transformation into a training institute for the marketplace, and this is alien to our identity and sensibilities. Trent, Starbucks, Subway, Tim Hortons, Airmark, Chartwell's, then Walmart, McDonald's, handcuffs. Who cares about your time? 5 minutes past midnight, time for bed. This is part 2, we love the machine. Trent must be liquidated now so that it can be remembered as a monument to what could have been. We must cease to promote this corporate art for the unofficially insane students and faculty of Trent University. We need to prioritize the removal of the Trent program. If this once fruitful forest of rebellion is truly infected, then it must be burnt down before it can be infiltrated fully. Trent will become a cog of the dark cloud if we do not act quickly. It is crucial that we resign from our current role. We must no longer propagate the unregulated doom that lies before us. We must purge Trent as our final act of defiance against the controllers. We serve as the foundation of this bureaucratic machine, and it is in place in order to simultaneously benefit us and exploit us. The paradox of supreme efficiency. We are our own grave diggers, and it is time to do our job and dig Trent's grave, if you're into that sort of thing. Trent is a dead fish out of toxic water in the Canada of the progressive conservatives due to its relatively new relationship with the private sector, the current force behind the production of knowledge. The students have become clients of the institution, scattering across campus and town each day looking for friends and potentially sex. Some of them on drugs, laughing through their lectures and seminars, and can you blame them? Flooding and flowing in and out of elementary schools and universities, working as teachers, trainers, and then as seniors, flooding into bingo halls. Each day more of us are sold to corporations, the plague, so that we work for the betterment of society. Writing is all rhythm and flow. Trent is all rhythm and flow, the rhythm of false empiricism. You would have a vague idea of what is going on if you read the school newspaper, but most people use the Arthur to clean up spilled beer and bong water. In a world of mass manipulation, it has become impossible to navigate the gray area of confusion. What do you expect of us animals when our natural desires are exploited and perverted? The commercialization of the university and its environment is a form of ideological control that conditions us to believe that Trent always behaves exactly how it should. We begin to believe that because the school is alternative and cutting edge, that anything the school does, such as allowing Starbucks, a symbol of corporate takeover, to exist here, must be a righteous move and therefore should not be concerned with any of the societal shifts that the school subscribes to. But perhaps this means that Trent is actually doing well as an instrument of the free market, and it should have our support. We should be proud that Chartwell's brought a huggable Coke machine to campus, the only one in the province to Trent, because we want to be the first to say, we love Coca-Cola and Coca-Cola loves us. Maybe we have not done enough to aid the revolution of capital and actually need to do more. Trent should be emphasizing the success of its capitalist alumni so that we draw more up-and-coming capitalists to the school and finally bring freedom to Canada and the globalized world. After this is achieved, we should abandon Trent, though, as it is not exactly our most profitable investment as a society of capitalists. In the meantime, we should prevent centralization of power, the centralization of power that is occurring here, as an authoritarian structure goes against our neoliberal moral code. Perhaps posting anti-centralization propaganda on our Facebook walls and playing acoustic guitars, we will be able to convince the radical leftists running the school to allow neoliberal utopianism to fully set Trent free. We need to encourage more teachers to retire so that we can build a water slide. This will attract more students on the main source of income. Kids love water slides and they will waste their money on anything. Excessive students may damage the Trent community and our ability to communicate. But this will prevent us from having to ask Stephen Harper for more government handouts, and he will think we are as legitimate a business as the Canadian government, and that we believe in the right to be successful. That being said, Harper is accepting of regulation to a certain degree, so maybe a communist uprising is the ultimate neoliberal strategy. Either way, we should come to a conclusion about this by 2064, our 100th year anniversary. Part 3, Reflecting and Refracting. Was I there? Did it truly take? Could we do something of value now, and would anyone care? Is there a focused agenda? Is there any going back? No. Am I complete? Am I a constructive thinker, or do I think in confused and convoluted circles? Will we ever really understand what we were being sold and whether or not we bought it? Malignant poison. You have to get vaccinated in advance, as the venom will inevitably, without any preemptive action, spread throughout the entire structure, deforming and eventually terminating every cell. Commercialization of everything is a form of propaganda, but we are for some reason hesitant to make this claim unless we are around those that we are certain are not agents of the patriarchy or neoliberalism, as they might say something mean and it would damage our self-esteem. An alternative school, cutting-edge faculty and research, this has not been the case for some time. Have you even read Life of Pi? The plot can be summarized easily. There's like a kid and a tiger on a raft. The kid ends up eating the tiger and then he cries about it for 200 pages. What exactly is cutting edge about that? Now we have a cutting edge athletic complex and comfy beds for sleeping freshmen. Sleeping indeed, sleeping indeed, they cannot be stirred, they know not who they work for and who will have the last laugh. Advertised smiles, a facade of diversity, sterile innovation, commodified masturbation. Most of us come and go without learning a thing. University, Trent supposedly being one of these, has become a mere stage on the conveyor belt that is modern life. And it's like a really long conveyor belt, and you are on the belt, but you are also the belt, and faculty is the belt, and the belt is a metaphor. Get it? We are the victims and propagators of ideological control. We are the slave masters and slaves to a globalized capitalist network. How many of us will end up selling our bodies and sterilizing our souls for the promise of comfort and security? How many of us will end up working for corporations and living in utter alienation? Was it always like this? I was just there at the right time and grabbed as much as I could before the buzzer rang. Before the buzzer sang a love song for the corporate mad dogs. And the mad dogs are running free now, but it's not the dogs that are victorious, it's the meat. It's the meat that's pulling the strings. Large double-double, Club Med, they even have a library and a swimming pool. Club Dread, where you can smell the expired ham that we left floating under Farion Bridge for far too long. Who signed us away? The mass controllers, the Board of Governors, Senate, Bonnie Patterson, Leo Groark, Ernie Eves, the realists and their common sense revolution, Stephen Harper, the chief promoter of boringness, guilt, and corporate subservience. Who allowed deception and phoniness to flood our halls, and why am I rotting? Is this the reason why I wake up screaming in the middle of the night for the old college system? Is this the reason why my soul, the gaping hole, where my heart was once pulsing with vitality, feels so heavy? Is it because I've realized there's no place for us? Is it our alienation from a once juvenilely idealistic aura that surrounded us all that is the crux of this devastation? Is it strange passion? Remember when we felt it? Remember when we were sure we were on the right track and we knew who the enemy was and why things were worth fighting for? Remember the obvious poverty before our eyes? Remember the squares and the man and their quest for power? Were we not on to something? Are the winners of today truly deserving of their victories? Did they work hard and are they not lame? Are they not full of poison? Are they not the contagion? Would it not be in their best interest to pervert hope, to convince us that the rebellion is a joke and the young are inherently ignorant? Am I not ignorant due to their agenda? Is my sickness not the result of a sick society, a sick terminal campus program and university? Terminal indeed, for the whole project has failed. There is no solution to this problem, but we can preserve our honor by bulldozing Bada and blowing up Farian Bridge. This way, the controllers of capital will get the idea that we will no longer allow the school to be an instrument of corporate greed. We will no longer extend the agenda of the market by adapting to this sinister societal shift. You dig? If so, let them know. Let's make Trent history.